The time is now 6 p.m. Our regular City Council meeting for October 25th, 2022 is now in session. First on the agenda is Councilmember Davis will lead us with the opening prayer and the pledges of allegiance to the flags of the United States and the state of Texas. Please rise.
Heavenly Father, through your grace you have brought us all together tonight. As we begin this meeting, please be with us and fill us with wisdom and ideas with which to move forward in serving our community. Help us to work in your name, not as individuals, but as a team, working together towards a common goal. Help us to act in love towards one another and to season our words with grace. May we grow to appreciate one another's gifts and be gracious in times where we fall short or make mistakes. While we have ideas and a vision, we still seek your guidance to understand the best way forward. Grant us patience towards each other and help us to be respectful of each other's input. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Councilmember Davis. First, we have a couple of presentations. Dr. Mark will present the 20-year pins.
It's my privilege to be here tonight. This is always a great honor to be able to present these service pins to our long-term employees, so it's my privilege to do that. Get my glass. So we have two tonight. Richard Coons and Dudley Waite will both be honored, and it's a great privilege to be able to present them to present our pins to both of these. So Richard, would you come up, please? I always like to have you come up front when we do the presentation. First, I want to say congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for your tremendous service to our city and the many years that you spent here.
Yes, sir.
So it's very meaningful to us. Talk a little bit about Richard's background. He started with the Schertz Police Department on July 10th, 2002. And he has worked in many positions for the department as a patrol officer for most of his time with the city and also on the traffic unit, and he's also a certified instructor with the department. About 10 years ago, he became certified as a school resource officer, which we call SRO, and he worked in the schools from time to time until 2018 when he became a full-time school resource officer, and that's what he does now for the department and for the city. Now let me talk just a moment about our SROs, because they really are a critical piece of our mission here in Schertz. They're the ones on the front line protecting our schools, protecting our children and our students, and they just do a fantastic job. They're vigilant, they're active, they have a great relationship not only with the students but with parents and with the administration at the school district. So certainly do appreciate that, and it's not an easy thing to do, and I think it's really a calling to be able to work with the kids, because I'm sure there's challenges associated with it, but he does a great job with that. As I said, he became full-time SRO in 2018, and he says he's very grateful for what he gets to do. There's not many careers in which you have an opportunity to serve others and your community, and this is what Richard does for us. He says it's hard to describe the feeling he gets when he lays down to go to sleep knowing he's contributed to making the world a better place, and that's certainly true. A little bit about Richard's background. He was born in San Antonio, Texas, and he grew up in Live Oak. He graduated from Judson High School and later Southwest Texas State University, and received a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. His first jobs were here in Schertz. He worked at McDonald's on I-35 and 3009 in Garden Ridge Pottery. And he said things looked very different in 1991, as we can all imagine, the growth that's occurred in Schertz. There was only one McDonald's, a couple of gas stations, and a Jack in the Box at that time at that intersection, if you can sort of picture that in your mind. Kind of a difficult thing. He says HEB was just a big cow field. So things have changed, so to speak. He's blessed to have been married to his wife, Laura Coons, for over 18 years. Laura, you're with us tonight. Thank you so much. Glad to have you here. He has two great children, Canaan, who is 17, and Myra, who is 16. Thank you both for coming. Glad to have you here as well. His parents, T.R. Coons and Cheryl Coons, still living in Live Oak. Is that your parents with you tonight? So thank you for coming. Glad to have you here with us as well. His brother Brian also lives in San Antonio, and he says he's big on spending time with his family and family get-togethers. He's also been president of the Schertz Police Association since 2018, and I didn't know this, he was recently selected to the board of the Cibolo Creek Municipal Authority. They're the ones that process our wastewater here in the city of Schertz, and so he's excited about that opportunity. His hobbies include just about anything involving the outdoors, including hiking, camping, hunting, and most especially fishing. He's a member of Trout Unlimited and enjoys the art of fly fishing. So that's a skill that's, I'm sure, difficult to learn. He likes to travel, and the places that he's enjoyed most have been in the West, Colorado and New Mexico, and southern Appalachian mountains. And as a fun fact, his anniversary date for the city of Schertz is the same date as his wedding anniversary. So just helps you remember. There you go. And we all need help remembering those kinds of things. So Richard, I just want to thank you so much again for your service. Richard was also involved in a very serious incident up on I-35, which was a live shooting incident. And if you've ever seen the patrol car that Richard was in that night, it was quite harrowing. So, so not only have you served us, but you served us with courage and distinction. So we appreciate that very much. And now I'm pleased to present you your pen. So on behalf of the city of Schertz, I'd like to honor you with your 20-year service.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
I would like to say thank you very much for allowing me to serve this community for 20 years. Again, it's hard for me to express words of how much it's meant to me. One of the things that I want to do, though, is I want to recognize some really important individuals for me that have made it possible for me to do this job, to be here, to serve for so long. One, of course, is those who I work with, who help lead me, who help encourage me, help support me, my family, but most especially my wife. There are those that probably lament the fact that I am here at this city, maybe in jail or have had some serious consequences. I will point to my wife as being the biggest influence that I'm here and that I remain here. And I want to say thank you for all your support and all your love throughout the years. It means the world to me. Thank you.
Great job. Okay, Dudley. Looking very sharp tonight. Both of you all look very sharp tonight.
First time for everything.
I want to say congratulations to you and thank you for your 20 years of service to the city.
Thank you.
Awesome job. So it's a particular privilege for me to be able to present this to Dudley. I've gotten to know him very well over the last 4 years, and we've worked together on a lot of issues and a lot of things, and so I've come to appreciate his skills and talents and the things that he brings to the city of Schertz, so thank you, Dudley. Dudley started with the city in June of 2001 as the EMS director, and when he took over EMS, it was just transitioning from volunteers to a full-time paid force. And at that time, the agency was responding to about 10 calls a day with 2 or 3 crews on duty. As you might imagine, we have grown since then. Over the 14 years that he served as EMS director, the agency grew to 5 units, 5 separate stations, and over 25 calls per day. And today, we're up to almost 40 calls per day. So we have grown and continue to grow. In 2015, he moved to be the assistant city manager. He oversaw public safety, public works, and other departments. And when he left the ACM position at the end of 2018, he remained as a part-time paramedic in the role that he continues to enjoy today. Dudley was born in Perryton, Texas in June of 1967, moved to Dumas in September 67. He was raised in Dumas and departed upon his high school graduation, the Dumas Demons. So, exactly, very appropriate. And he began his education at Texas A&M University. There you go, okay. I knew that was coming. It always comes. It never stops. He says after his 7 years there, he moved to Clearwater, Florida. Yes. So you spent a while there. You're very familiar with College Station.
They don't call me doctor.
Exactly. He moved to Clearwater, Florida to work in a large EMS system for 10 years, and then he moved back to Texas and began to work for Schertz. While he was at Texas A&M, he worked in their volunteer EMS department, and he was the chief of that volunteer department for 3 years. He certified as an EMT in 1985 and certified as a paramedic in 1988. While he was in Florida, working 10 years in Florida, he was the operations director for Sunstar EMS in Pinellas County, which is the largest multi-jurisdictional EMS agency in the U.S. When he returned to Schertz, he also was appointed as the chair of the governor's EMS and Trauma Advisory Council's EMS committee. So good on you for that. Great appointment. He did that for 13 years. And he was awarded that council's Journey of Excellence Award. He was a founding member, first elected president of the Texas EMS Alliance, which was a statewide organization that has become the voice of EMS in Texas. He met his bride, Cindy, of 26 years in Florida, and Cindy's with us today. Thank you, Cindy. Good to have you with us. He said he was the first person that he met who was born and raised in Florida, so he married her and brought her to Texas.
Got her out of there.
Exactly. They're proud parents of 4 boys and 1 beautiful princess that God blessed with as their chosen parents, and they're 6, 7, 7, 9, and 11. Do you want to introduce them?
Sure. So Nevaeh, the princess, is on the far left end over there. You can wave, Nevaeh. There you go. And her twin brother, Josiah. Go ahead and stand up, Josiah. There you go. And then Zachary sits between them so that, well, you know twins. So Zachary sits between them. And then on the other side, yeah, I can barely see him from up here, but Jordan, our 6-year-old. And then next to him is our oldest, Zayden.
It's great to have you all here. Thank you for coming tonight. Really appreciate that. So his mom still lives in Dumas, and as does one of his brothers, and his other brother lives in Sun City. One thing to know about Dudley and his family is that they are Disney fanatics, and they go to Walt Disney World at least once a year, if not twice, and apparently going back in early January. So good for you. It'll be a great time. He likes to ride his bike. Did have a little accident last year, but fully recovered, fortunately. So glad to see that. And back to riding. He's also an aviation nut. He's dabbling in taking flying lessons, so we'll see. Have to see how that goes. One of his greatest opportunities in his role as the assistant city manager was to learn about water, and it's been one of my greatest roles as well. And it's been an incredible privilege for Dudley to serve on the SSLGC Board of Directors, and also as the president of that board for the last 2 years. And so he currently serves as the president of the SSLGC Board of Directors, and we work closely together on the water issues for the city. Dudley says he's 2 things in his core. First, he's a leader of people. He loves to lead in every opportunity he can find. And he also is a paramedic, and that's not something he does, it's what he is. and likely will be doing what he calls crazy work as God allows me to wake up every day. And we're thankful to have you doing that. And he says it's been an awesome privilege to work for the city for the last 20 years. So Dudley, again, thank you for your incredible service and your dedication to the city of Schertz, and the city would not have been the same without you. So congratulations.
If I remember correctly, it's like 1 minute per year. Is that the time limit? Or? Like Richard, I would like to thank my beautiful bride of 26 years, Miss Cindy back there, and the family. We've been extremely blessed when we decided we wanted to get some children to be blessed with the 5 that God has chosen for us, and so we're just amazed by that. And I've been extremely blessed to be a part of this city. When I came here from Florida, Schertz didn't look like it does today, much like Richard's talking about working up there at 3009 and 35, and to watch this city grow, to see the people who have dedicated their lives or a part of their lives to this. Some of the other people I'd like to mention is my former boss and mentor, Johnny Bierswall, John Kessel, Dr. Brown, who has been an insight over the last 4 years, have been amazing folks to work with. Had some awesome opportunities here to grow the EMS system and also help grow the city. If you look on the plaque outside, you'll see that I had a hand in this building and the Civic Center as well. When we were city managerless, and Johnny Bierswall was the city manager, myself and Gail Douglas, the librarian at the time. Think about that for just a minute. The librarian and the EMS director handled construction projects. Not real sure we should be under this ceiling, but anyway, so it has been an awesome time being a part of this city. I look forward to every day I get to continue to be a part of this city. You know, like everyone, you know, the last 2 to 3 years have been tough, and this city has not escaped that. And when I talk of the city, I speak primarily of who I consider my family, the employees here. And it's a tough time here like it is in every other place where they have employees. And I look forward to this city continuing to coming out from underneath this dark cloud of post-COVID, whatever you want to call it, and once again rising like a phoenix and leading this area in its growth and opportunity, and just as a wonderful place to live and raise a family. So thank you very much.
Richard and Dudley, you know, Richard, you said the influence, who influenced you, but you forgot how many people you influenced in our city. Thank you so much. And Dudley, you talked about how blessed you were to have your family, how blessed we are to have you respond to the emergencies that exist in our city. On behalf of our city and our community, thank you so much for your service. All right, we'll move on to announcements of upcoming events. Mr. James.
Thank you. Just to remind folks, on Monday, October 31st, we're doing Trunk or Treat at the stations. That's from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. At fire stations 1, 2, and 3, where they're going to be giving out candy for kids who swing by. Our next council meeting is Tuesday, November 1st, here in council chambers at 6 p.m. And as a reminder to folks as well, early voting continues until Friday, November 4th. That's for the November 8th election, so you can get information on places to vote on the city's website.
Thank you, Mr. James. Announcements and recognitions by our city manager, Dr. Brown.
I have nothing further, Mayor.
Okay, a couple of announcements. First of all, those of you joining us on YouTube, we do have technical difficulties. Visual presentations will not be visible on YouTube. And I also like to announce that TxDOT is starting road construction on FM 1103 November 1st. Please be patient. That construction will last for a couple months. Again, construction on the FM 1103 will start on November 1st. We'll move on to the hearing of residents. This time is set aside for any person who wishes to address the city council. Each person is limited to 3 minutes, and we ask before addressing the council, for the record, please state your name and address. Mayor Pro Tem, please call first speaker.
First speaker is Joseph Goodry.
Good evening, Mayor. My name is Joseph Gidry. I work for Judson ISD. I'm just here to provide you a little bit of information. In a couple of weeks, we're going for a bond. There are 2 proposals that we're going for. Proposal Prop A is going to be for safety and security, and Prop B is going to be for adding two new schools, an elementary and a middle school, and additional transportation buses as well. The big one for the enrollment, just like you guys are growing here, we're growing as well on the northern part of 281 in that area, closer to TPC Parkway. So those are the 2 propositions that we'll be going for vote in a couple of weeks. So I just wanted to share that information with you. That way you guys are kind of aware what Judson ISD is going through as well. All right.
Can we get your name and address, please?
Joseph Gidry, Judson ISD.
The address, please.
I'm sorry?
Address?
Oh, I know I'm sorry. It's in Live Oak, where our offices are located in Live Oak. So,
Okay,
okay.
that's fine. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The next is Ron Henry.
Good evening. My name is Ron Henry. I am the owner of 505 Exchange Avenue right here. It's historical house number 7. The reason for...
Could I have your address, please?
Yes, I'm sorry. It's 505 Exchange Avenue.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. The reason I am here this evening is I recently purchased that property back in July of this year, and I'm in the process of remodeling and restoring it. And while I was doing that, I came across, of course, the first steps is to always look at the historical committee and see what needs to be done to bring that back to, its original luster. And so when I was researching through the city, I saw that there was a $20,000 grant for the downtown revitalization and historical properties. And so being that we are on Exchange, what I'm asking tonight is that we extend that grant to both sides of Exchange. And so that way it's not just on Main Street, so that these other historical homes that are in our books and in our library here get that same grant so that we can continue to beautify the city and add sidewalks and add beautiful fences in the exteriors of the property. And that's it.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you.
All right, we'll move on to consent agenda items. These items are considered self-explanatory, and information packets were provided to council and available for public viewing. These items require no separate discussion unless requested by council. Item number 1, resolution number 22R112, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing a memorandum of understanding between the City of Schertz Economic Development Corporation and the City of Schertz, Texas. Item number 2, resolution number 22R113, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing a funding agreement between the City of Schertz Economic Development Corporation and the City of Schertz, Texas for signage on the Schertz Parkway. Item number 3, resolution number 22R114, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing a funding agreement between the City of Schertz Economic Development Corporation and the City of Schertz, Texas for redevelopment of Lookout Road. And item number 4, resolution number 22R116, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing an interlocal agreement between the City of Schertz, Texas and the City of Selma, Texas regarding the funding and design and construction of signage on the interstate of Lookout Road and the Schertz Parkway. Mayor Pro Tem, please continue reading the remaining consent agenda items.
Yes, Mayor. Item number 5, resolution number 22R117, consideration and/or action approving a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing expenditures associated with the fiscal year 2022-2023 vehicle equipment replacement program and other matters in connection therewith. Item number 6, Resolution number 22R125, consideration and/or action approving a resolution authorizing the City of Schertz to enter into a service agreement with C3 Environmental and AR6 General Contracting for on-call concrete repair, replacement, and related matters. Item number 7, resolution number 22R115, consideration and action approving a resolution authorizing the City of Schertz to enter into a contract with Brown Text Materials and Vulcan Construction Materials for asphalt, hot mix, and related materials and other matters in connection therewith. Item number 8, resolution number 22R98, consideration and action approving a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, creating neighborhood empowerment zones along FM 78. Item number 9, resolution number 22R121, consideration and actions approving a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing a wastewater pump and haul agreement with Meritage Oaks Homes of Texas, LLC.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Council, do any of these need to be removed for separate action?
Like 8 and 9.
Number 8 and number 9? Okay, any others, council? Is there a motion to approve consent agenda items 1 through 7?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, second by Councilmember Whitaker. Any other comments? Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
We have 5 ayes, no objection, motion passes. We'll move back down to item number 8, resolution number 22R98, consideration or action approving a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, creating a neighborhood empowerment zone along FM 78. Councilman Scagliola, you had questions?
Here's the thing, you know, I really didn't see a whole lot of information in the packet, so I'm not opposed to the idea. I think 78 was the original gateway to Schertz.
Yeah.
Way back then. So I'd like to see it beautified. The only thing is, I'm really curious as to the scope of the empowerment zone, the funding, bottom line, a do not exceed, a debt limit, just generic kind of information.
Sure. So maybe, if I may, Councilman, really what we were doing tonight was designating areas as empowerment zones. And again, we contemplated creating one empowerment zone along 78, and really this is the south side of 78. We decided to create 2 because when we kind of looked at the area, we thought they're a little bit different in terms of the development and the challenges and things like that. And so we may want to tailor incentives slightly different to each. But again, all we're asking council to do tonight is create or approve the designation for empowerment zones. In and of itself, that doesn't create any programs or any funding or anything like that. I think the idea was to let's get this on the table, and then as we have time, we can come back and say, what are the things that we need to do? And so when we came back, if we said, well, let's look at doing a signage grant program, that would be something that we'd come back with a program. We could have council set the cap of the maximum annual amount per year with. So there's no cost to this per se. It's really just creating that designation so that it's in place, we can make folks aware. And I think part of the benefit of that is when we talk to folks and we see the issues they may be having, it lets us start thinking about those things going forward, much like the gentleman who came up here earlier tonight. It lets people come up and say, what we really could use is help in this area or that area, and then lets us sort of approach it from that perspective.
I was wondering, you're going to put together a committee to actually have oversight over this?
So I will say this, at this point, staff is not planning to. We sort of have our hands full with a number of different things that we're working on, and so until we can fill some key staff positions, we really aren't planning to do a whole lot to make a concerted effort. Again, we may find we need to deal with a particular focus thing because of a problem and an opportunity. But frankly, we've got sort of enough on our plate that we're behind on.
Yeah.
We need to catch up on that, fill some positions, and then go from there.
It's just, I was perusing over the 7 habits of highly effective individuals, and one of those things is always have an end game, know where you want to end up. But, okay, this will get the ball rolling. I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 22R98.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilmember Scagliola and second by Mayor Pro Temp Hayward. Any other comments, discussion? Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
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 We have 5 ayes, no objection, motion passes. We'll move on to item number 9, resolution number 22R121.
Yeah, I really didn't want to turn this into the Scagliola hour, but
No, but let me go ahead and just read it so that the viewers understand which topic we're talking about. Consideration or action approving a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing a wastewater pump and haul agreement with Meritage Homes of Texas. All right, Mr. Scagliola.
I'm just generally opposed to pump and haul agreements. It's not that I don't trust people, but if there's any kind of default going on, we know who's going to be left holding the bill or paying for the bills. I don't like the idea of putting something like this on a consent agenda before actually discussing the, okay, I'm not a pessimist, I'm really not. I am an optimistic person, but I am very pragmatic. And, you know, my mama, God bless her, expect the worst, you'll never be disappointed. I'm not quite that bad. What assurances do we have that somebody somewhere down the line is not going to default on this agreement that's being made and obligate the city?
Sure. So again, I think the issue is the agreement is with Meritage Homes. It obligates them to be responsible for it. I think what we've done in this circumstance, because you're right, things can always go wrong and they can always go sideways. A lot of my day is spent with people calling up wanting the city to help solve a problem that we might say, not sure how that's the city's issue to deal with, but you know, that's what we're here for. And one of the reasons is limiting the number of lots for which building permits can be issued. So it's 20 homes and 1 model home. And that's really the thing that we're doing. By limiting the number of lots, it limits that exposure in the event of a worst-case scenario where, yep, for whatever reason it stops, we can't get enforcement, the city has to step in, it reduces some of the costs based on that.
So is your reputation on the line here?
Reputation's always.
I think our reputations are always on the line.
Yeah.
And Councilman, what I would say is, and I want to be clear, is, and this I will say, so let me go here. There is certainly risk to this, but there is risk to pretty much every item you've approved on the agenda tonight. And I think part of what staff's impression of council is, and our impression of what you're asking for is, staff, you need to not be so risk averse that you become an obstacle to this city moving forward. We want you to evaluate it. We want you to understand the level of risk. How likely is it to happen? If it happens, how significant is it? But we don't want you to be paralyzed and stand up here and recommend denial on every single thing because of that potential risk. So there is certainly some risk with it. We think we're making an informed recommendation, thus the limitation on the number of lots.
Can I say something?
Yes,
So if you recall, we did discuss this when we presented all the projects, we reviewed all of our projects, and the developer did request pump and haul, so that's what this came out of. This came out of that meeting. So, and as Brian says, it is an effort to help the developer move the project forward, because in a lot of ways this project was stalled, and this will help this developer move forward. And our opinion, staff's opinion, was that was the direction that council wanted to take. So that's pretty much why we're here.
I think we mitigated this. We reduced the risk by the number of houses, and also I think he has a bond also regarding the pump and haul.
So you would put up a bond to cover the cost of pump and haul. Again, that draws down, we'd want him to refresh it, but again, you certainly could have that not happen, there be an issue, whatever. Yeah, there's some risk to it. But yeah, we have tried to reduce the risk with that to a manageable, acceptable level.
Okay.
I can accept that, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve resolution number 22R121?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion made by Councilmember Dalla and second by Mayor Pro Temp Hayward. Any other comments? Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
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 We have 5 ayes, no objection, motion passes. All right, we'll move on to to item number 10, discussion item number 10. Ordinance number 22S. Oh, excuse me, let me read something out first. Before we do go over items 10 and 11, please note for the record, Councilmember Dalla has stepped down from the dais. Councilmember Dalla is the owner of the property in question and has signed an affidavit regarding a conflict of interest, and he has stepped down from the dais at this point. So item number 10 is ordinance number 22S 141. Consideration or action on a request to rezone approximately 15 acres of land of pre-development district to planned development district, PDD, located 2,200 feet southeast of the intersection of Lower Seguin Road and FM 1518, also known as Bexar County Property Identification Numbers 309-997 and 309-999, City of Schertz, Bexar County, Texas. Final reading. Mr. James, it's on here only because it did not have the full unanimous votes, am I correct?
That's correct. Because it was not a unanimous vote, it was not on consent agenda. The applicant has requested this item be tabled to the next meeting, November 1st.
Okay. Any questions? Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 22S 41?
I make a motion to table ordinance, item number 10, ordinance number 22S41.
Second.
Okay. I must remind council, when we table a motion, it will appear on our agenda until it has been read, okay? All right, we are tabling ordinance number 22S41, and I think we need to call for a vote on that one. Okay. Motion to table was made by Councilmember Whitaker, second by Mayor Pro Temp Hayward. Any other comments? Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
We have 4 ayes to table the motion. All right, so we'll move on to item number 11. Item number 11 is resolution number 22R123. Consideration or action approving a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing a subdivision improvement agreement with 1518 Apartments, LTD. Okay, council, questions?
So I can explain this one if you may, Mayor. This one's a little bit different than the last item. This is a little more similar to what we often do for non-single family residential projects. And in this case, the applicant is relying on the city to complete construction of the Woman-Hollering Creek trunk line in order to be able to tie the sewer into it. While that is anticipated to be done in about June of next year, the applicant, just to make sure they have a clear path forward, has asked for a subdivision improvement agreement that in one way is pretty typical of what we'll do with commercial projects. It's to let them file the plat before all of their required public improvements are accepted so that they can start construction of the facility while they work on those public improvements. We do those with QT fairly often, you may recall. The other element they have is that for whatever reason, if they need to do pump and haul because that connection hasn't been made, that they have the ability to do it. This one, again, provides greater assurances for the city that we don't take that on, in that they required per the agreement to put up surety for the cost of those public improvements. So in the event that they default, the city can call in that surety, go in and construct the public improvement, make the connection, and then put an end, if you will, to the pump and haul. So again, going back to that risk assessment, you always have some when we do these agreements. In this case, it's not the same thing that we have that the pump and haul would continue forever and ever.
Council, questions? Councilmember Scagliola.
Yeah, as far as risks go, the city's responsible for the CCMA line or the sewer lines that are going to go to the CCMA plant.
So the
That's
city,
on us.
The city is constructing the Woman-Hollering Creek trunk line. That runs from the CCMA South plant to the lift station and continues on up to the Crossline batch plant. So we have a lot of folks who are waiting on us to finish that line. You may remember Crossline for us to tie in. That project is obviously well under construction. Again, we feel like we have a pretty conservative estimate of when that'll be completed. To be blunt, I think what the applicant wanted here is a clear path to know they could move forward with it, but I would frankly be surprised that we don't finish the line before they're, even done with construction of the complex, and then that would allow them to construct those improvements prior to needing the CO. But again, they just wanted that clear path to know they weren't held up. So there's always a chance, but again, we feel like we've covered our risk again with that performance bond.
Sounds good.
Or surety.
Okay, Councilmember Whitaker.
This is the same property as item number 10?
It is, yes, ma'am.
Is it irrelevant to vote on this one if we haven't voted on item 10?
No,
yet?
ma'am. So again, fundamentally, you would approve the agreement. Likely, we're not going to execute the agreement until they get the zoning approved. We'll just sort of sit on it, and then that happens at times. So would not expect this agreement to be executed if the zoning is not ultimately approved, but it essentially means we don't have to put this back on the agenda and do the work for it.
Okay.
Council, any other comments, questions? Is there a motion to approve resolution number 22R123?
So moved.
Second.
Have motion made by Councilmember Whitaker, second by Mayor Pro Tem Hayward. Any other comments? Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
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 We have 4 ayes, no objection, motion passes. Thank you. All right, next we'll have a roll call confirmation. Ms. Edmondson will provide a roll call confirmation on items, consent agenda items 1 through 7, discussion items number 8, 9, and discussion items 8 through 11. Ms. Edmondson?
Thank you, Mayor. Consent items 1 through 7, a motion was made by Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, seconded by Councilmember Whitaker. Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, Council Members Davis, Whitaker, Dalla, and Scagliola all voted yes. Motion passed 5-0. Item number 8 that was pulled from consent, Resolution 22R115. A motion was made by Councilmember Scagliola, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Hayward. Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, Council Members Davis, Whitaker, Dalla, and Scagliola all voted yes. Motion passed 5-0. Item number 9, which was also pulled from consent, Resolution 22R121. A motion was made by Councilmember Dalla, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Hayward. Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, Council Members Davis, Whitaker, Dalla, and Scagliola all voted yes. Motion passed 5-0. Item number 10, ordinance number 22S41. It was the final reading. A motion was made by Councilmember Whitaker to, the applicant asked for this item to be tabled till November 1st of 2022. A motion was made by Councilmember Whitaker to go ahead and table the item until November 1st, 2022. Second motion was seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Hayward. Councilmember Councilmember Dalla was not on the dais. He left at 6:35. So Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, Councilmembers Davis, Whitaker, and Scagliola all voted yes, 4-0 to table the item. Item number 11, again, Councilmember Dalla was not on the dais. Resolution 22R123, a motion was made by Councilmember Whitaker, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Hayward. Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, Councilmembers Davis, Whitaker, and Scagliola all voted yes. Motion passed 4-0.
Thank you, Ms. Edmondson. All right, we have a couple of closed sessions. We have 3 closed sessions today. Item number 12, the City Council will reconvene in closed session pursuant to Texas Governmental Code Section 551.072, deliberation regarding real property to discuss the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property within the City of Schertz for a public facility. Item number 13, the City Council will meet in closed session in accordance with Section 551.074 of the Texas Governmental Code on personal matters to discuss the direction and the appointment of the new city manager. And item number 14, the City Council will meet in closed session under Section 551.0 3074 of the Texas Governmental Code on personal matters to discuss a vacancy of the city secretary position. The time is now 6:45. We will reconvene after our deliberation. Excuse me, the time is now 8:02. We reconvene into our regular session after our deliberations in our closed sessions. In reference to item number 15, discussion on item number 12, the real property within the city of Schertz. The start time was 6:50, end time was 7:05. No action is required. Item number 16, in reference to item number 13, the city manager's vacancy. Start time was 7:07, end time was 7:31. No action required. Item number 17, in reference to the item number 14, the city secretary vacancy. Start time was 7:33, end time was 7:48. And Mayor Pro Temp does have a motion that she'd like to make.
Yes, Mayor, making a motion to make Sheila the interim secretary with a 25% increase in salary.
Second.
We have a motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, second by Councilmember Whitaker. Any other comments or discussion? If not, let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
We have 5 ayes, no objection, motion passes. Okay, we have roll call confirmation. Ms. Edmondson will provide a roll call confirmation on item number 17.
Yes, item number 17, the closed session to discuss personnel matters, to discuss the vacancy of the city secretary position. The Mayor Pro Tem made a motion, seconded by Councilmember Whitaker, Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, Council Members Davis, Whitaker, Dalla, and Scagliola, all voted yes. Motion passed 5-0.
Thank you, Ms. Edmondson. Okay, we'll move on. Any additional information from our city manager, Dr. Brown?
Thanks, Mayor. I just wanted to say thank you for a great Love Where You Live event on the 15th. I think it was a fantastic event. I think we hit a record number of houses and a record number of residents, record number of volunteers. So thanks to I know Councilmember Whitaker, Councilmember Hayward, and the mayor were all there. So really appreciate everybody's turnout.
Okay. Council, any possible updates or information requested from staff? Council, any possible items you'd like to place on a future agenda? Yes, Councilmember Davis.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, can we get a presentation and a potential agenda item from the staff on the current grant program and process for the historical grants in the city of Schertz?
Okay. Any other items? Okay, we'll move on to announcements by council members. Mayor Pro Tem Hayward?
Yes, Mayor, I attended the Love Where You Live, and I got to do the tasks of moving tree limbs to the street. It was a hot day, but it was actually a good process, and that was having a lot of people out there was really good, and I think they did a fantastic job. I did the Schertz Development Subcommittee. I attended Coffee with a Cop and at Starbucks, and that was a great thing. Chief Lowry was there, and there were other agencies. It was the Converse Police Department, Kirby Police Department, Cibolo Police Department, as well as our own police department. So, and they set out a really nice spread and did raffles for the police. It was a really good event. And then I attended the TML Risk Pool Board meeting, and that was very informative, and that is all.
Councilmember Davis.
Nothing tonight, sir.
Councilmember Whitaker.
Also attended Love Where You Live. I love Love Where You Live. And we did the city council workshop last Friday, right? Excellent job by staff, and I'm really glad that we get to meet throughout the year to talk about those things, so it's not a last minute, what do we want to spend money on? So I thought it was a really good meeting. Thanks, that's all.
All right, Councilmember Dalla.
I had a few things. I stopped by the car show there for the Historical Preservation Committee. Second year in a row. It's a pretty good car show, some really neat vehicles out there. Also attended the council workshop and the development subcommittee meeting as well.
Councilmember Scagliola.
I think the chamber luncheon, the council workshop, and that Balloon Fest went out there. Shout out to our chamber, the HEB, and especially REMAX. Good event.
All right. The time is now 8:07. We stand adjourned.